Greetings, Patrick here. 8 questions with. I thought I'd come up a couple minutes early. Um, we're going to be welcoming back uh, Owen Lewellyn is coming back. We had him on last month, or we attempted to, before StreamYard decided to mess it up on us. But we have Owen Lewellyn back. We're going to go back and go talk about his career. We're going to talk about the RIP man. Oh, boy, suddenly got itchy. It must be allergy season, right? Um, yeah, we're gonna be. Wow, look at me scratching my ears. I, I look like Paladin for a minute. Um, so yeah, we're gonna be talking about the RIP man, things that we wanted to talk about last time, but we were unable to. I'm sure that Owen is wondering what happened to me during the time we saw each other last. That's what I do. In order to keep interviews fresh, I try to have minimum contact with the subject because I want us to be sort of like meeting each other for the very first time. So we have a lot to talk about. Sometimes you talk to a guest too much beforehand, and it just sort of causes the conversation to lag because we were recovering territory we already had. Um, we will be doing that here, but it's been a month since we talked, so it'll be like fresh all over again. Yeah, the tricks of the trade. I want to say thanks to everybody last night. It came out and supported our interview with Jimmy Starr. Wow, that was turned out exactly how I hoped. That show is my number one show now. It's in terms of overnight viewing views. Over 1,000 people have looked at it. That blows me away. It just shows that hey, it's possible, right? It is possible to get a guest on here with that can bring those kind of numbers. So I'm extremely grateful for Jimmy and Cindy as well, um, who helped me set this interview up yesterday. And I got to shout out to Jimmy too because he did that interview while suffering from kidney stones, which I didn't know. I did not know he had a kidney stone. If I had, I probably would have pushed it back for him. I yeah, now I go back and look at it, and you could definitely see that he was pretty uncomfortable. But I had no idea. But he braved through, gave us not only did he give us a great show, um, what a gracious man. And we even picked up a couple of new subscribers, which I think will probably break me out of my current YouTube sub freeze, which always happens to me. I don't know why. Like nobody ever, they never let me get any new subs until like for weeks upon end. Um, but I got a couple. I got a couple yesterday, so hopefully that'll tell YouTube that people really do want to sub here. Uh, what else can we talk about a little bit? Wow, it looks to be like the Odyssey is going to be the big movie of the summer. That thing is massive. People can't even they have to wait up an hour to get tickets online. They're getting to buy tickets online through the AMC sites. It's taking up to an hour to buy tickets. That thing is going to be just crazy, huge, huge. It's an all-star cast, and one of those people in that movie is Shiloh Fernandez. That's right, Shiloh Fernandez, who was a guest on the show here. We had him on when we were talking about Flux, and we talked a little bit about Return to Sender and Evil Dead, the 2013. But he had told us that he had been cast in Odyssey, but that's all he could say. He couldn't say another word about it, and of course we respected that, and we hope that he has a really decent part in it. It's a massive all-star cast. Holy crow, cast of thousands, as he used to say in Cecil B. DeMille land. Let's see. I got to talk about this because we're doing this for Dollar Theater. We're back home now off of our road trip. Yeah, that's right. We went around the world. We went to 8 different countries on Dollar Theater. And it's sort of funny. It's like we could actually make, we could actually make it nine, because we are talking about a figure from Mexico, and we watched The Curse of La Llorona. Now, this is not the first time that I've seen the character La Llorona on here. I first saw this character in an episode of Grimm. That was the first time I ever heard of the mythology of La Llorona. So when this came out, I was not surprised by it. But yesterday was the first time I watched it, and I gotta tell you, this thing was a banger. I was really entertained by it. I thought it was pretty badass. It's a little sluggish at first, but you stay with it. And there are some jump scares. I know some people hate jump scares in the horror as being cliched, but I thought their jump scares actually fit very well. I thought that was appropriate. I thought the acting was superb. Wow, those kids in this movie were great, absolutely great. Linda Cardinelli, who is also great and is getting ready for Crystal Lake, Camp Crystal Lake, which is coming up in I think only a couple more months. That'll be premiering, and she'll be starring in that, playing Mrs. Voorhees, Pamela Voorhees, and Raymond Cruz is also in it, and he was great. In fact, this movie did so well, and I will be getting into the bones of it once I review it. This movie did so well um, that they are making a sequel. So The Conjuring, even though it says it's not directly connected to the Conjuring universe, it is, but you have to see the movie to see how that works. Um, but they are making a sequel to that. It comes out April 2027. So the Conjuring universe, as we know it, is still going forward. I know that I heard they're thinking about going back and making a prequel. I hope they don't do that. Uh, I think that room where the Warrens had all their trophies, or you know souvenirs or what have you. I think that room is more than enough launching pad for these movies. I don't think you need to do a prequel to something we already know what's going to happen in the future. That's what I hate about prequels. You already know what's going to happen. It's like, okay, it's the Warrens. Okay, they're in danger. No, they're not, because we see them in The Conjuring, and they're fine. So we'll Ed Ed and Louise, or I think it's her name, Louise. Will they get out of this alive? It's sort of like Batman, it's like, and the next day, you go back there and there's Batman got out of the trap. It's like that here. It's like if you do a prequel of a supernatural series with two characters who you already know have already made it out alive, it's just really hard. Whereas the La Llorona branch, we don't know, because because as far as we know, this is a fictional take of this is like an original story based in the universe. So anything is possible in this. So, uh, of course, the big news this week, and I'm not going to talk about it here. I'm probably going to maybe I'll do a live later on about this, because I do want to talk about it because it's important. Um, our friend Adam Marcus, director Adam Marcus, who is a friend of the show and has been on here a couple of times, and hopefully a third time soon. He made the headlines because it's been 1 year since Val Kilmer died, and Adam Marcus was just stood in his power and sit there and say, he was an asshole. Um, and everybody seems really shocked at that. Like, wow, how dare he say something about Val Kilmer? Why? Why not? It's his story. It's his truth. He's telling it how it is. And people who are shocked at this, like, what? Adam's been speaking about this as far he was talking about it during our first interview. You can go head on back there, and he held nothing back. He has not been a Val Kilmer fan since forever. So why people are suddenly like, what? And all the people are like trying to clown on him. Take a step back off that cliff, um, because it's his story. We weren't there. We're not there for this. He was. And he's just telling the truth. Listen, people, not every actor, not every celebrity, not every person is a good person. There's been plenty of times that we talk about actors who have been terrors on set. Not the nicest people. And it's not against the rules to talk about it. Well, yeah, we don't want to say anything about that because he's a nice guy, or he's dead. Well, doesn't take away what he did. Didn't take away and who he did it to. I don't care if he's dead. I mean, look, I like Val Kilmer, the actor. I mean, I'm a fan of his work. I mean, his Doc Holliday in Tombstone is one of the best performances ever. And I liked him as Iceman, and I liked him in a lot of his movies, but I didn't know the man personally off the camera. I didn't work with him. And if he was an asshole, and believe it or not, it's not the first time. Adam's not the only one who's commented on that. That's the thing. He might have had the loudest voice, but there's been people that have commented about Val Kilmer not being the nicest guy. Hey, Jerry, how are you? And I thought you sprained your ankle yesterday, Tony. You said you sprained your ankle yesterday. So did you sprain it yesterday or today? Uh, yeah, I'm glad you're here for the show. Um, just touching a little bit about touching a little bit about Adam Marcus yesterday or this week. He's made the headlines saying how Val Kilmer was an asshole to work with, and he said that he's not shedding any tears about the man's death. Hey, you know what? Like I said before, like I just said, and that's totally Adam's prerogative. I tell you what, I stand with the man. If that's what he wants to say, and this is how he saw it, I'm with him. I have no problem saying that. Um, like I said, he's not the first person. He's not the first person to comment about having difficulties working with Val Kilmer. He was a little bit of he's a little legendary for that. There's a lot of actors, if even though they're all nice to each other, but there's if you take a few minutes to actually look into some of these relationships, you'll see that not everybody gets along with everybody, in Hollywood as well as anywhere else. So, 2 days ago, under pain medication. All right. Well, take it easy. Don't be no 100 yard sprints for you. So yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this. I'm seeing a lot of people jump out of the woodwork about this, throwing their 2 cents around, and it's like, wow, okay. Um, no matter how wrong they are. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I was just really like, it's just surprised at those headlines. I guess it's because it's the anniversary of his death. I guess that's the reason why it's suddenly now, even though Adam has expressed his opinion, um, ever since I've met him. When we had our first interview with him, he went into that story, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. And so nothing has changed. He's saying the same thing he's been saying all along. It's just this is now people are hearing because not only is Val dead, but now they're going to make an AI movie with him in it, which I don't agree with that at all either. But I guess his kids need the money. I don't know. I don't know why you would subject your dad to becoming an AI, do a movie of him as an AI. It just seems really creepy to me. Real, ooh. oily, slimy. I don't want to see that on a big screen or a small screen. I do not want to see I don't want to see anybody who's passed away. Like I don't want to see John Wayne in a new Western or Richard Boone as Paladin in a new Hive Gun Will Travel. I don't want to see that. Fans of their work, but they have their time. I don't want to see it. Uh, but what I do want to see, though, I do want to see Owen Lewellyn. He'll be here shortly, and we are going to talk about the new face in a horror, Aiden Pick. We talked when we talked about it before. We're going to introduce him all over again today. Connection Willie. I'm looking forward to this. He's a fine young man, fine young actor. And Jamie Langerlands has created him, and uh, he and oh, I gotta get the other gentleman on here too, because that would be wrong not to mention him. Reese. We're gonna talk about Reese Poley. Um, uh, uh, Reese Thompson. I'm sorry, Reese Thompson. And Jamie Langerlands has created a really cool world. And speaking of movies that are, like people are talking about YouTube, people on YouTube, all they're doing is making the same kind of movies that independent horror makers are making outside of YouTube. They are making their movies the traditional way, um, and uh, uh, and doesn't there is greatness to be found if one will look for it and one will give it a chance. Um, that's the beauty of it. It's like a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people need to go out there and explore some fresh faces. This is one good thing about Tubi and Exemo Play, um, is and Fossum is that they can find a lot of new faces, a lot of new movies on there. You just get a single name like a Owen Llewellyn. You go there, you type it in IMDb or you type it in Tubi or what have you, and then you see their name pop up there, and then you go and watch their movies. Yes, most of the movies you never heard of, but then again, nobody really knew about Obsession or Back Rooms. I mean, it took a long time for them to come into the sunlight. Well, so it takes that way with independent films too. I think that Jamie and Reese have created a tremendous character in the R.I.P. Man, and Owen has brought it to life really, really well. So, and they are making the second movie, and I'm sure, hopefully, sure, people will come out and support that so we can get another one too. It's a really interesting mix of slasher horror and police procedural. Very well blended. It's a very hard thing to do. When you mix genres, like if you mix genres as a whole, it's such a tightrope. Is it too much horror? Is it too much suspense? Too much mystery? Yeah, I mean it's a fine line. But I think the RIP man has done a great job balancing it. And what's really interesting too is I watched the RIP man and I watched the police procedure, and then I've been watching Inspector Morse and Lewis. I got a bunch of their series at the library, and I've been watching them, and they're police procedurals. And oh my God, the two policemen, especially in Lewis, oh, they could have easily stepped into R.I.P. Man and not missed a beat. Just tremendously, and that is a great series, by the way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I didn't see this. I hadn't seen any of these before I talked to Owen last time, but now that I have seen it, now we can talk a little bit about it because it's fun. Let's see. Let's see if I can. I got my Uh, wow, he was on spot time. That's the that's the kind of actor. That's the kind of actor I like.
Hey,
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the mighty Owen Lewellyn to the stage. Owen, man, good to see you again, my friend.
hi, likewise. Nice to be back.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? You know, what? I'm thinking. I was just thinking. I was thinking about this and going like, man, we had such a crappy time with our connection and everything. I thought about it more like, it's probably someone from StreamYard that was sitting there watching our stream, recognized you as Alden Pick, probably crapped their drawers and just like got scared and just ruined our connection.
That
I'm gonna
is
go with
quite,
that. I'm going with
yeah,
that.
I'll
Yeah,
go along with that theory too. Yeah, I was talking to someone just before going on here about the fact that there were little moments where you got kicked out of your own room, I think, right? And because there was a few moments where I was just on there on my own, and I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. It was like that was like the worst. There, I've only had one other show. I only had one other show that was worse, where it was just completely, and that happened way back. I never got that interview back either. But that's what happened. We tried to do the show, and our guest was based in Los Angeles, and even up until today, the crappiest connections I generally get are the ones where I have to go to LA.
oh,
That is, I mean, yeah,
I mean
not
that's not
great
very
place.
convenient considering I imagine a lot of actors are probably there. So yeah, if you
Yeah,
enjoy a lot of actors, then it might be yeah, that's a shame.
definitely frustrating. But it was just so bad that I did the same thing then. I think I mentioned this. Yours was only the second time in over 600 episodes that we've had to cut it off. Like there's just no saving it. Um, and that was only the second time that happened. And the first time, I just 17 minutes of just pure hell. And after I just told the guests it's not working. Don't worry about it. We'll come back and try to do it again. Um, and didn't happen, but that was pretty much my choice. Um, but it didn't happen. But that was the worst that happened to us so far. But today is another day, and I have so many more questions now because between the time that you got here and now, I found a lot of English TV series. I found Inspector Morse, and I found Inspector Lewis.
Okay.
Have you have you seen either one of those shows?
No, I haven't. I do recall you mentioning them to me though before, right?
Yeah,
You did say them.
I watched them. I might have gotten them, but when I talked to you last, but I hadn't watched any of them. I have now, and good Lord, I'm sitting here watching them. I'm watching the two cops, and I'm going like, man, that's Jamie. It's Jamie. They're hunting for Alden right here in good old Oxford. Um, yeah, who would ever thought that Oxford was such a deadly place to live in?
Well, there's a show called Midsummer Murders that's in the UK, and that one is in this little rural village. But yeah, something happens every week there too. And
Yeah, yeah. How does that happen? They should have like they could have the sign population sign. You're now entering Oxford, population 1,000. Then the next week, it's Oxford, population 997, and 994. It's like what the hell?
they're
Because an
written
average of
down.
three people. Yeah, an average in the show it was just basically 90 minutes, um, or 2 hours with 90 minutes without the commercials. It's like they actually kill more people in Lewis than Alden does in his movie.
That's incredible.
Uh,
Um,
I think Alden killed four, killed the girl. We're going to talk
four,
about that.
yeah, four. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. He's only one ahead. He's only one ahead of most of the killers in Lewis. He's not
Yeah,
that bad of a bloke.
I was thinking it's quite a nice number for a horror film, though. I was thinking like it's Elm Street's, like the original Nightmare on Elm Street's 4, I think, right? And
Yeah, generally about four. Now, yeah, the Halloween's more, and Jason for sure is more too.
yeah,
Jason's
Jason
just
goes through them like
yeah,
crazy, but
yeah. Uh, but Alden's sort of like a gentleman killer, I think, right? I mean, he's only kills four people. I mean, that's not so bad,
I mean, considering how many characters there are in R.I.P. Man as well, like
right?
yeah, it's I think it's unique in that. Well, maybe not unique, but it separates itself a little bit in that sense. Where in most horror films, every person you see is probably going to die if they've got a substantial part. Where like
Well, what?
it's only a specific group of people in this one. He doesn't. Alden isn't targeting anyone else.
No, see, he's not. He's not. He's a discriminate killer. He has like his naughty list. You know,
Yeah,
if he ran across him coming out of the store, he's not going to kill you. Because you're not related to him. He's going to open the door for you and say good day. Like I said, he's almost like a gentleman slasher killer.
I never
Especially,
thought
I
of him
got.
like that, but yeah, I'm sure he might be okay to people who aren't in that doomed collection of six. But
But you know what though? It's yeah. This is awesome.
because in the
Yeah,
script as well, in the script there's a
yeah.
little bit where like the person who in the mental health facility that says no, Alden never was violent. He never, he was a very peaceful person. And maybe he was if he wasn't around that little group of people that he wants to kill and take their teeth.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, taking the teeth. I mean, yeah, that seems pretty fierce. But I'm sure, I'm sure that he has their best interests at heart. He's not going to go out there and just make them suffer horribly. He's like like I said, he's like a gentleman serial killer.
He makes a couple of them suffer a little bit, I think.
Um, Here is our good friend Jerry saying hi to you again, Owen.
Hi,
Glad
Jerry.
you're here, Jerry. Jerry is a tremendous horror fan and a great supporter, and glad he is here. And so yeah, see, we're already doing so much better already than we did last time. Like last time, I think we were already in the soup.
Yeah, I think it started breaking down quite early, wasn't it? So yeah,
Yeah,
fingers crossed it's gonna will work out
I
this
I
time.
was I was talking about this before you got here. I'm not sure if it made any news across the pond, which I'm probably sure probably didn't, but I don't know. Have you heard anything about the Adam Marcus blow up?
No, I don't know the name Adam Marcus.
Well, Adam Marcus directed a Friday the 13th movie.
Oh, which
He
one?
directed Jason Goes to Hell.
Ah, right. Oh, okay. That's my least
One of your
favorite.
favorites, right?
Favorite.
Yeah, huh?
That's that's my least favorite one, I think. But
What?
still, it's
It's on now. Oh, well, it was your least of what you haven't seen Jason Takes Manhattan yet?
I have, but I preferred it to Jason Goes to Hell. At least there was some Jason.
Wow.
Like,
Wow. You know what? I feel like all of a sudden I want to walk a golden ticket because I've never heard anybody say that before.
oh wow, no. So for me, like 1 to 9, I think I like the first one best, and then each one I like slightly less, but I like them all apart from 8 and 9. I think 8 and 9 are the dodgy ones, but like
Well,
1 to 7, I like in order essentially.
you did like Jason X though.
I love Jason X. I never know where to place that
Jason
one
X is
in the order though of
J-
ones I like.
yeah, Jason X. Jason X is my favorite.
Is it your favorite
Uh,
actual favorite one? I mean, it's a
That's my
great one.
favorite one, and then Jason Goes to Hell would be probably my second favorite.
Oh
They're not
wow,
the, they're not the best movies. I feel like 1 through 4 are the best movies,
I agree.
but the ones I liked the most were uh, Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X.
I
Those
mean,
are my two favorites.
for a long time, the only ones I'd seen were the original and Jason X. Then over COVID, I watched them all in order, and yeah, great. I can't believe I spent that long in life not seeing them.
Oh, how long ago? How long ago have you seen them? How old were you? How old were you when you first saw the Friday the 13th movie?
The original, I was about 12 when I saw it, and then I
Okay.
think I must have been about 18 or something when I saw Jason X. And
Wow.
then I didn't see any of the others until 2020 when we were in lockdown, and I thought I should watch these. So I
Yeah.
watched all of them. Yeah, and I can't
Uh,
believe, as a big horror fan, I can't believe I missed them for that long.
well, how do you think? How do you think? I think Aiden would hold his own against Jason.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We haven't put Alden to the test. To the extent, I mean, if any killer's ever been put to the test, it's Jason, right? Like that Jason's gone through everything and somehow managed to come back every single time.
Yeah,
um
yeah,
but I'd
but
love to
he's
see it
never
though.
had he's never had to do it without teeth. How would
He
he fare
hasn't.
without any teeth? I mean,
I
he would he'd probably be doing this throughout his whole movies because his he couldn't be able to say anything. He couldn't even grunt. There's no teeth.
No, I mean, as time goes on, hopefully we'll have more R.A.P. Man sequels than I mean, obviously we're filming one at the moment, but
Right.
hopefully as more go through, we'll see how tough Alden is. um, and then
Uh,
we'll see how. I think that's a way of gauging how we'll fare against Jason, right? Because
I would love to see it. I think that would be he might have a couple of pounds on you, but
yeah,
but you had quickness and you have quickness and quick striking ability and you take teeth. Oh man, that's just one of the few things that that's one of the few things is why people fear the dentist. They fear the dentist. They don't like having their teeth messed with. It gives people the heebie-jeebies. You
he'll
know,
drill straight through that mask. Yeah,
yes. Well, it's like when they watch the when we watch the R.I.P. Man, and we see right off the bat, Aiden, with his first victim, and I, I'm sitting there going like, holy shit, because it's like one of those minutes. It's like, oh damn, but you know what? But as a fan of a slashers, you want that. You want to be like surprised because I see a lot of people like a lot of horror fans. They're so jaded, right? I mean, there's nothing that can surprise them because they've seen it all. It's like because they watch nothing but horror. That's all they do. So they get desensitized to it. So they're no longer able to be surprised. They're no longer able to like imagine what's going on during a scene. When you in the first scene, someone who's not a diehard horror fan, we're suffering along with your first victim. We're suffering because that's a brutal death.
yeah.
And I mentioned this. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I agree. And the more, the more I've spoken about this film, even after filming it, and really thinking, obviously not just from my character's perspective, but also just thinking later on what the victim perspective, in the sense that like how horrible it would be to have something like that in your mouth. It's an area which makes people feel very uncomfortable to have anything in there, let alone uh yeah, a drill bit with
Well,
wings.
I compared I can in my review and when we were talking, I compared that first kill. I compared it to the first kill of Scream. It's just as
In,
bad. It's just I
that's
mean it's
not
just as violent and just as shocking as as Sydney died in Scream '96. That young lady dies just as bad in R.I.P. Man. It sets the table for for what's to come, and I'm there for it. I think R.I.P. Man it does a really good job of establishing Aiden as a true classic horror icon. Um, I went back and reread my rewatched my review, and all it did is just cement what I've been saying. It's like it's an amazing film. Just absolutely love it. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I know, we talked about this before, but that we have no proof of that. So we're going to sort of restart this all over again.
Of course.
But how did how did you get into film? How did you get your start?
Um, I I studied. Well, I mean, I got into acting at school. It was when when the school you get to when you get to 12 years old, they put acting as a separate subject, and I started getting compliments from the teachers, so I started getting a taste. And I think as a kid, you get that makes you think, oh wait, maybe I could do this as a career, which isn't always the most stable choice as a young person. But yeah, I got the taste for acting from there and decided that's what I wanted to do. So I went on and studied it. And then it was in 2009. I wasn't acting at the time. I'd finished education and was just working in a shop. And a friend of mine posted up a Facebook status saying that she was in a play with Joe. She'd got an audition, sorry, for to be in a play with Joseph Fiennes. And I just commented, being like, "That's amazing." And she messaged me saying, "They're looking for guys too if you're interested in auditioning." So I applied. They invited me to audition, and I got cast in this really small role in this play, and got to work with, yeah, Joseph Fiennes and Sir Trevor Nunn who was directing it as in a small capacity. And I was like, right, now I've done this. Yeah, I quit my job, my regular job, to do this. And yeah, after that, when that had finished, I was like, right, well, I don't want to just go and get another job now. I want to continue pursuing acting. So I started going on casting websites and just applying for anything I can. And I ended up in I started doing short films, some independent feature films from there, and have sort of scrambled my way through life as an actor ever since. And then in 2024, Jamie Langland's got in contact with me at like out of nowhere, for me, like offering me this role as the RIP man in this film. And it's been the most significant thing I've ever done in my career, because everything else I've done before, yeah, it was great to be a part of it, and I enjoyed doing it and enjoyed looking back on it. But essentially, after you film it, you might get to watch it in a few months' time once they've finished editing it, and it'll get a mild release, but no one ever talks about it afterwards. But this, we're talking about it right now, like, and it's been growing bigger and bigger since its release, rather than something that just gets forgotten, which is incredible as an actor, like to do something that is resonating with people and having a big impact on them.
I agree. I know that there's like, it's really cool. What I really like is it's like when I see actors from the UK and they come over and we see them here doing interviews here on the stateside about their films. I think it's a significant step forward to establishing, like the RIP man. I mean, it's definitely going to make my top list. I know that my friend Garrett, he interviewed Jasmine,
Oh, cool.
and we've had Jamie, and we had oh, let's see, how far do we get in here? We got in here 38 minutes. That's not bad before our first boo. Uh, I think here's what we're gonna do. If we glitch out, if this thing warbles,
Yeah.
continue answering my question, and then when you're done, if it's still warbling, just go like this. That means I know that you've done speaking, and then we'll keep going, because we hear the warbles, but after the show's over with, I found this out last time. After the show's over with, it'll go back and play back, and it'll play back perfect. So the warbles, the warbles won't. This distortion, it won't affect our interview. They fix that after. They fix it in post.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, because I noticed there was your last answer was warbly, so I'm going like, just continue to do the answer, and then when you're done speaking, just go like that, and then I'll know to answer and ask another question. We're
Okay.
gonna we're gonna beat we're gonna beat StreamYard today.
Yeah.
No one's gonna stop me from interviewing Aiden Pick. Damn it. Uh, that's right. I think that's great. You know, though, it goes to Jamie because we got to hype up Jamie because we did it before. We're going to do it again. Jamie Langerlands is a terrific director. Um, I met him through his movie The Cellar. The Cellar is a banger.
Yeah.
It's a good movie, solid psychological, supernatural thriller. Really, really liked it quite a bit. Um, you know, he established himself as a director to keep an eye on. It's like, okay, I want to see what he does next. And then he comes back there and he says, "Hey, I got a new movie out." I'm like, I'm stoked. I don't know what he's gonna do, but it's gonna be good. He comes back with R.I.P. Man, sends me the screener, and I'm just watching it. And two things I noticed is like the movie is outstanding, and two, there's a gentleman named Joe Leone. He's also a filmmaker over here, and Jamie and has something very much in common with Joe Leone, and that is his casting. Holy shit, that guy has the Midas touch when it comes down to finding new talent. And Jamie is like that.
Yeah.
I yeah, I mean
He, he,
just for him to walk up to you and say, "Hey, I got," I mean, offering you a lead of a motion picture, you don't have that many credits behind you. You've never been a lead on a movie before, but he comes up to you and says, "You know what? It's you. We're gonna use you in this movie," and it
yeah.
works so well. I can't see anybody playing Aiden Pick other than you now, and
That's great to hear.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
that to me. That's when you know that you've done a great job as an actor and as a director, casting director, like Jamie did.
Yeah.
I mean, and look how smart he was. He cast himself in one of the roles of the cops,
Yeah. I
and
mean, Jamie's an experienced actor. He's been doing it as long as I have, at least. Yeah, and that's how we met. I ended up. He was in a film called A Prelude to Fear, which I think was 2017. And yeah, he through a friend who knew Jamie, um, he needed an extra person to play a police officer in that, and my friend connected me with Jamie to come on the set for this film. So yeah, I just had a tiny role, had like one line in it, but like yeah, I met Jamie through there, and we stayed in contact to a degree over the years. And I think Jamie knew that. So I used to work in a scare horror maze, you know, where like tourists would go through and you jump out and scare them. I did that for 5.5 years. So I think Jamie thought, I know a guy who already can play quite scary characters. And apparently, when I asked him, like, did you have a backup in mind if I couldn't do it? And he said, no, no, you were my only thought, which is lovely to hear, you know, like,
yeah, uh, I mean, it just shows it goes to show. Oh, he's still. It goes to show that he has the Midas touch. And and that's important. It's important to cast the right actor in the right role. I mean,
yeah. And what a great group of people he cast, because he didn't know any of like Jasmine or Max or Bruno or Callum and Mia. Like he didn't know any of them. August as well. Like, and yeah, he managed to get so lucky just casting all of them as in the film, just through one casting call. And I think, yeah, I wasn't there, so I don't know exactly how it went down, but he certainly put a good cast together. Like, and
that takes that's a lot harder than people realize. I understand sometimes when they have when they sit there and they have a chemistry test, for TV shows or big budget movies, because it's absolutely important that there is chemistry. You have to have it. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Well, we're going to put these two Oscar winners together, and that's going to be magic. That doesn't always work. I mean, there's been several times where we've heard where actors just absolutely don't mix. There's been even times where they've had some big heavy hitters, and they had to film their scenes separately
Oh
because they
wow.
couldn't get along. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you're sitting there, you watch it, I'm like, yeah, yeah, isn't that something else? If you go back and you watch the movies, you go back and watch the movies of these people, and if you really look hard, you realize that there's never any scenes of them in the same frame. There's always
Wow.
they're here, then it's here, then it's here, but it's never together because they couldn't get along. They
Do you
just
know?
it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work.
Do you know any famous examples of that? Like I'm just
Nick
that sound.
Nolte, Nick Nolte and Julia Roberts.
Oh wow, what in is it Nothing But Trouble? No, not Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah,
Is
no,
that the
that
name?
was it. Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing. I think it
Oh,
was
wow.
Nothing But Trouble.
Uh, Wait,
Uh,
no, Nothing But Trouble's the Chevy Chase one, right? Is it I
oh
Love
well,
Trouble?
he's another one. He's another one that's has had a lot of
Yeah, he's
it's
not.
had a lot.
I've heard some stories.
Right.
Yeah,
Um.
it
uh,
might be I Love Trouble actually, isn't it? The reporter one.
yes, maybe that's it. I love trouble. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you go back there and you go back there, I mean, today they would just CGI it. But back then, what they did was they just filmed Nick here and then they filmed Julia here, and they're never together in the same scenes.
Wow. I mean, I haven't seen that film since I don't know,
Yeah,
new, but like I must have been about 11 or something. But still, yeah,
but but I
that's
think I think what it was I think it's one of those things where it's like you're going to lose a lot of money because if they don't like each other on screen and it comes across as that, the viewers don't they pick up on that. I don't know about, and I think we all do. I mean, when there's not any chemistry there, when there's just things just don't seem to be they seem to be forced more than they seem to be natural. I think the average movie viewer, they can pick up that vibe. They can see that they're not exactly, they're not, you can just tell. You just got the innate sense, but they're actors. Yeah, they may be actors, but you still can sense that when things aren't going well. Like obviously not sharing scenes together. When it's like, wow, okay, that's a little weird.
yeah.
It's supposed to be a romantic comedy or something like that, and yet they're never in the same scene together. It's like what?
Yeah,
So
that sounds turmoil. Like, I mean, obviously it wasn't the case of R.I.P. Man because fortunately everyone on set was lovely. But like, I just couldn't imagine not wanting to try your hardest to get along with the people on set, even if you're not connected personally. Like, you might not be people who want to have a drink afterwards or something. You still want to get on as well as you can on set because
sure.
it for the good of the film, like, and just for the good of your own professionalism. Like, you want to create a positive atmosphere for everyone. Yeah, I couldn't imagine why you would want to do that unless severe personal reasons, I guess. But then that's still not professional.
But they do the chemistry test to see how well they because let's I mean let's if we're going to talk about an actor where I think that I mean I'm being honest here, I would never use him without a chemistry test, and that would probably be Tom Hardy. Far too many stories about him. He's a brilliant actor. He's one of my
Yeah,
favorites. But there's been so many stories about him being absolutely a tear to work with, and it's like and especially in a lower budget movie, it's not like Jamie can come out there and go like, okay, I got a $500,000 here to waste. If this doesn't work out, I can just reset and do it again. He doesn't have that. He's got a small budget, and he's got to make sure that when he casts you and he casts Jasmine and he casts Column and Maximus, um, he wants to get the best that he can, and he's got the Midas touch for that because that's what makes the RIP Man work is the chemistry of the cast. It's so good. Um,
yeah,
and we were talking about the first kill in the movie, and you guys were up there for what 16, 17 hours, and
yeah.
you had to kill the first victim, and it took a long time to do. but you guys all did it together. There wasn't any fighting, there wasn't any, misunderstandings. It was you and her just being total professionals and getting it done because you guys both see the bigger picture. I think a lot of times some actors they forget that.
Yeah, I mean, I could imagine, especially if you're like people who have made it really big in Hollywood and they're perhaps living a bit of an overwhelmed life and forget that it's still good to make life okay for other people as well. Like some do, at least, where they might have been nice, personable people when they had to be. As soon as yeah, when everything's, I don't know, when people are catering to them every day. Um,
Mm,
Maybe
good
people
point.
will crack a little bit and they suddenly forget about that professionalism and forget that because they don't need to make that good impression anymore, they let it slide. And that's a shame because even if you don't like someone, I think you should make the best efforts to make the sets, make life on the set as pleasant as possible for everyone else and just be professional around each other and put any differences aside while you've got to film. Not that I've
How
had that
how
issue. I've
how,
generally
how
always
did that
liked.
last? How did that last night go? I mean, was that your first time that you ever been on set for that long? I mean, I've heard of people say, we're out there 16, 15, 16 hours, or we filmed in the dead of winter. Was that your longest day ever on set? And if it was, how did you keep yourself rested and and in the moment? I mean, because 16 hours on set, I think I would just go mad a little bit. I'd be going a little loopy because it's like I gotta stay in character. I gotta have all this makeup on. I'm gonna be killing this. I'm gonna be killing my co-star here. How many times do I have to kill her? I mean, how do I stay and how do I keep Aiden in me? Because the longer you stay on set, the more tired you get. How did you perform so well? I mean, if you look at that now, you think that was like an hour long setup, and it was done like that, and it looks awesome. But in truth, it was so difficult to do. How did you stay in the moment for you? What did you use any techniques? Were you able to lay down anywhere and rest?
I don't know about laying down and resting. I think it might be the longest shoot I've done. It's certainly the first overnight one I've ever done. I'd never done a completely overnight shoot before. I have done. I know I've done some student films in my early days of acting where they were so disorganized that it would go on till like they'd only have one day to shoot and it would go till like 4 o'clock in the morning or something.
Uh,
I do recall that. I can't remember if that RIP Man might beat that, but this was obviously planned to be overnight and a long shoot. I do you know what? When playing a character like Alden Pick that is in a lot of pain and not very feeling very human to begin with, I think sometimes it can almost help if you're not like if you're feeling a little bit rough and towards the end of the night. Um, I remember fueling on a lot of coffee that night and just kept myself going that way. It was in the heart of summer, so at least it wasn't getting really cold towards the evening, which is because we did another all night shoot in that scene in the tower later on. That was a really rough
right,
shoot. And that
right.
was outside, and that was in March, and that was freezing. And that one I really started to feel because I say as you get more tired, you feel the cold more. And we were all just we were getting towards our end at least as far as stamina wise towards the end of that shoot. Um, the opening scene though, it went pretty smoothly to my remember. Like from what I can remember, like everyone was just in a good mood about it. The only thing that I can remember that perhaps was not desirable was towards the end we were fighting daylight. We only had so many minutes left because it was in summer, so the night was short. And towards the end of the shoot, especially the bit where like we're pulling her down, I'm pulling her down the stairs, and the drilling of the mouth at the end. Um, that was very much everyone was moving at a fast pace then in between takes because we only had so much time before, well, the lighting of the set completely changed. So yeah, that's the only thing I can remember is there was a bit of a rush towards the end. But generally, I think we're all in good spirits and we're happy with what we've done. And I just sort of remember driving off in the morning, and that was it. You know, like feeling very tired.
Right.
Maybe not been feeling so tired, but not being able to sleep the next day. I can remember that because you
Oh,
sometimes think like,
yeah.
oh, I can get an afternoon nap, and then it's like, this isn't happening. I can recall that. But
Yeah. No, that sounds like me. That sounds like me. I'm all right now. I'm upside down. I can't get any sleep, and then during the day, I'm just wiped the hell out. Yeah, I don't know how that works. I have to figure out how to put it back upright. But yeah, I get that. Um, so the movie has been out for a little bit, and you are now shooting the second one. Are you not, or have you
we are,
wrapped
yeah,
yet?
we're in the middle of it, yeah.
Oh, okay, middle of it. So at the risk of the wrath, is there? I mean, I don't want to spoil anything at all. But how has the second shoot been in comparison to the first one? Is it more like? Is it more smooth because you know the character a lot better? Now you know how the kills are going to be. Is it has it been more easier for you, more fast? And easier getting into character than it was the first movie.
Um, I say easier getting into the character because even though I've got to think about him in new situations, I know him now, so I don't have to think about who he is and what he is, and yeah, I don't have to create anything from scratch with the character. I haven't done as many shoots for this one because I mean, it's not spoiling anything because it's on the IMDb synopsis if you were to look it up. But there is a new killer in town called Chaz Porter, who makes a brief appearance in the first one. And Alden Pick is starting the film in prison. Um, so a lot of my scenes are going to be Alden locked away, and Detective Mullen from the first one is going to be trying to get information out of Silent Alden Pick to try and help him track this new killer that's Alden's best friend.
Sort of like a Silence of the Lambs type of deal, where
Yeah, very much so.
All right, though that works. So that's
Yeah, I
because
say very much so.
that's the best
Oh,
part. If you ask people, that's the best part about Silence of the Lambs. It's the interaction between Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster.
yeah. Well, this is going to be different because Alden doesn't talk, so
Oh,
I'm sure it's going to be a far more frustrating experience for Detective Mullen. But yeah,
well,
that's going to be um, my main part of the film. Is I mean, Alden also has some mischief up his sleeve in the film too. But yeah,
I
it's funny because in the first one, when we started it, we were all given the script because Reese had written it he'd originally set it in Idaho and had got the screenplay published and it was out there for a few years before the film was made. But that was what was shared with us. So I knew the whole story, even if it was edited and changed. I knew the crux of the story. Jamie and Reese have been very secretive with the story of this one, with the cast, and we've only been sent our
I
scenes.
heard I did hear a rumor. I heard a rumor that Jamie's character, the detective, he's going in there to try to talk to Owen, and he's given Aiden, and he gives Aiden some gummies, the candy.
Oh, I'm I'm not sure about that. I'll have to. I say I haven't been. Was that Jamie that told you?
The gummy. I'm just thinking the gummy bears for a guy who has nothing but gums.
I
It
was
was
about to
just
say
my.
I don't. I was sort of thinking like I don't recall reading that, and then
I'm just thinking that'd be the funniest thing for him to go in there and talk to you and say the first thing he does is he tosses you a bag of gummies on the table. It would just be that would be just too that would be sort of cruel
give
actually,
him a
but it would
pair
be
of like
funny.
those
Uh
false teeth sweets. that you could get.
Right, right.
Like,
Now, that is going to be interesting though, because to me it's like, yeah, because let's talk about Aiden's condition, because I know some people are saying, well, why wouldn't they just give him some false teeth? You can't.
yeah,
His mouth structure could not handle it, because he is his it's what's it called, adenta, where
that's
the
right.
jaw is so the bone structure can't hold teeth, and that's what causes the teeth to fall out. There's no bone enough to grab onto it, and
Yeah,
you could literally.
and they say in the scripts that they tried. His adopted dad says he tried to pay for implants for him, I believe, and it didn't work out. Yeah, Alden didn't want it, but like, yeah. So nothing nothing can be done. Alden has no teeth, and that's become his obsession. And apart from the only way he can get teeth is by killing people and taking one from each one. Well,
I,
that's his
I'm
chosen method. That's his chosen method.
it's going to be very interesting. It sort of sounds like, with Aiden locked away, and the police are trying to pick his mind, and I have a feeling that Aiden is not too happy that there's somebody out there doing his work. It's like, that's supposed to be my territory. That I don't want you, especially if he kills people that Aiden has already on the list. Because I know as a serial killer, if I have a kill list of 8 people, I want to be the one to do it.
Yeah,
Um, because Aiden is organized. He's not. He's an organized killer. He knows where he's going, and he knows how he's going to do it. It's not just a random, like a Jason or a Michael. It's like whoever pops up in his way is going to get killed. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Where Aiden, much like Hannibal Lecter, um, or Doctor Leader, the doctor from the Human Centipede. Um, they have plans. They know what they want to do, and how to do it. Um, and like I said, they're organized. I have a feeling that he's not going to be too pleased if this guy gets out, Chaz, and starts taking care of the people that Aiden wants to take care of.
yeah, yeah.
That would set up a pretty explosive third chapter.
Yeah. You know what? You've given me something to think about as the character too, because I hadn't actually considered that. I know that, like, obviously, Chaz Porter's Alden's best friend when they were in the mental health facility together, and Chaz has kind of taken on Alden's Alden's work in kind of honor of him.
Right.
Will kind of continue on what he could do because Alden's been arrested. But I don't think Alden would be very happy about it because
Mm-mm.
this is all Alden's focused on doing. He wants to get those remaining two, and Chaz is trying to get in the way of that. And Chaz obviously,
Yeah.
because Chaz has this condition where I can't remember the name of it. They do mention it in the film. But Chaz has this condition where his tongue is scaly and dry and unbearable, and he ends up cutting off most of it.
Right.
So Chaz also doesn't talk, but then Chaz has this tongue infatuation, so he will rip out each victim's tongue. Yeah. So again, it's going to be
It's a,
gnarly.
that's,
There's going to be
it's
some
it's
nasty.
just a great area. It's a great area to have a horror film, because those are two things that people are just deathly afraid of.
Yeah.
I mean, the dentist, the teeth, and the tongue. It's like, it's not a pleasant. If you ever stuck your tongue on like in a Christmas Story, you stuck your tongue on a pole and it's froze there. People are not too happy about that. Or you bite your tongue. You see people like,
Yeah.
what happened? I bit my tongue, or I bit my lip. It's very painful, and it's like, And
Yeah. The amount of
yeah,
pain
so
that would come from someone chopping off your tongue, because if you think any, yeah, when you just, if you just catch like the edge of your tongue with your teeth, it really hurts. So
it
imagine what,
does.
yeah, imagine what someone trying to cut it off would, how painful that would be. Must be one of the most sensitive areas of the body, I'd imagine. I never really
I
thought
think
about
it,
it.
yeah, 'cause we
Yeah.
have handles all of our tastes, and it helps us shape our words and speak. So I
Yeah.
mean, it's a, it's a really interesting, it's a really interesting, idea to set the, because before, like again, all the other serial killers, like Freddy, he uses fear. Michael and Jason don't use anything. They just, like I said, they just whoever pops up in front of them, that's who, um, Michael like stalked Lori, but he still would just kill anybody in front of him. And same thing with Jason Voorhees. Whereas, here you got a killer that's very target specific. It's a it's a smart series. It's a smart franchise. This is the R.I.P. Man's franchise is a franchise for intelligent fans. It's not just
Yeah.
it's not just for the and plus with the police element into it, the two policemen, trying to find, using, traditional police procedurals, trying to find their killers. Um, you know, that's what made, again, it's what really made Silence of the Lambs stand out so much, because that's probably the only other movie I can really think of where they combine elements of the slasher versus and a police procedure, and it worked.
Yeah.
I think and obviously it's a very hard thing to do. Otherwise, we would have more movies about it, and we really don't. Um, we really don't. And the only other movie I could think of that kind of scenario is a movie called Nefarious,
I
and
don't
that's
think
it.
Yeah, well, it's. I think you might have said to me when we were talking previously, that yeah, the police are actually competent and they're not. They're immediately on the issue. It's not a matter of things being brushed off, because it's such a trope in the slasher genre, especially I think when someone's killed, that the police aren't much help at all and they brush almost everything off as something else, just to not connecting the dots, like yeah, and that they end up being pretty useless, where the police are actually the ones who solve a lot of this film, and they're the ones that find out a lot of the details of why everything's happening. The kids do also do their own bits of research, but it's not like they're the driving force of what's happening. Like the police are the ones actually moving that part of the story forward. Um, like the discovery about the killer, it's done by the police. Um, yeah, so that they were driving part, they were driving force in the film.
I was thinking, I'm just thinking here, I'm going like, it's too bad he went off the rails, but man, I was just thinking to myself, I'm going like, man, this would have been a really good, that would have been a really good role for Lawrence Fox. Uh, I would have liked to see him and Jamie, connect, and he would have been a great casting for this movie.
Was the
Um,
police
I,
officer?
I, yes, he would have been perfect for it. Because he's interesting. He's really interesting. I don't know if you've seen any of the Lewis episodes, but if you go watch the show, you'll sit there and realize, he would have been a great copper in our movie.
Is that
Um,
Lawrence Fox
how
in
I
Lewis?
I
This
don't know
Spectre
how
Lewis?
much I don't know how much acting it is, because I had asked, who did I ask? Oh, I asked somebody about that. Oh, I asked Gareth. I asked Gareth if he would, reach out and try to interview him. And he said that he was a little bit too hot to handle. That's a shame because he's a good actor. Um,
Yeah, I think he's
how
quit
hard,
as well now. Yeah.
um, how easy was it for you to get back into character? And now that and you were not having any, having a hard time getting any dialogue, how did you communicate, in the movie? Did they give you like a voice box, or like you have to write all your answers down? And how hard was it, or easy was it for you to get back into Aiden's skin? Did you have any problems
Um,
getting back into it?
do you know what? I felt like I hadn't really left him behind. Like, I mean, obviously I have. He's not anything to do with my personality.
God,
But
God, I hope
I
not.
felt like I just gelled straight back into it. I didn't have to. Yeah, it didn't take much. I still remembered how I played the character. It hadn't gone away from my head. So, as soon as we jumped back on set, I felt like I was Alden again. And it's funny, like some of the people behind the camera were saying, like it's like, oh, he hasn't lost a step, you know, like as soon as I got back in. Um, I As far as the communication goes, that's something that I'll have to leave a mystery. I haven't actually done those scenes yet. They're going to be the most challenging for me. Are the scenes in prison? I've done other scenes in the film, but yeah, I'll be filming them in the next couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to it. But it will be
I'm sure
that'll be
Jamie's
the
gonna.
most that'll be the most challenging
I'm
scenes for
sure
me.
Jamie's. I'm sure Jamie's gonna. I can't wait to see it when it comes out. I'm sure he's gonna have something so that Aiden can communicate. With his, with the police. You gotta have it. You gotta be able to communicate. I mean, you just can't sit there and just like write everything out to their questions. That
Yeah.
he's gonna communicate somehow. It's gonna be It's gonna be a bit of an adventure to see how he does it. I'm looking forward to it. Um, and
Yeah.
how and how, I asked. We talked a little bit about this last month, but now we can advance it a little bit. But like you said, the movie still has legs. It's still being talked about. It's still in the public's eye. Has it been so? Has it been more increasing as every day it goes by? I mean, we're starting to see more and more people talk about the character and talk about the movie. Um, are you starting to see that over in the UK, or are you
Yeah.
in your own home? I mean, are they talking about it?
I think in the US it's certainly getting more interest, but in the UK it is getting interest too. We're yeah, I've got so used to now just seeing my image like posted all over social media, which was a funny experience for me at first because I say again everything else I've been in through time that hasn't been a thing that's happened where people are constantly putting up videos uh and pictures of my character all the time and you realize it's something I'm slightly getting used to now. It's growing and growing though. Jamie, we had a screening at a film festival in Romford, which is near London, last week, and I went with Jamie, and we did a Q&A after the film, and Jamie announced he kept this secret, but he announced that we're going to be on a platform called Shudder. I presume you have it. Do you have it in the USA too?
Oh my gosh, Shutter is the shit.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm amazed. I love Shudder, and that was a bit of a dream for me for that film to get on there because I think that the film's going to get more attention and exposure than ever on there
Yes.
because I mean, there's one thing saying it sounds great to say you're on Amazon Prime or Apple TV, but it's an ocean and you still have to actively search for the film essentially. A friend of mine did tell me they got it on their recommended list after watching a horror film, which was quite cool to hear, but generally it's lost in an ocean of other films. Shudder, it's honed in horror market, so horror fans are going to find it. Horror fans are going to see it on
Uh,
that list, and hopefully horror
as
fans are
a,
going to watch it.
as a matter of fact, I do a show here on my channel, a couple other channels. It's the IFC Midnight Show, and there's this company called IFC Films. They rebranded themselves as to say Independent Film Company, which is what IFC stands for. But they had IFC, and then they had a branch of that called IFC Midnight, which handled all their horror films. And the sister company is Shutter. So, like last Sunday, we did the show, and I picked the movie that was done by Shutter. Shutter made the movie; it was a Shutter exclusive, and we ended up talking about it. and then I found out that it was ISC was also involved in it. So ISC and Shutter are basically one and the same company in a lot of respects. So, and that's my very favorite film distributor. Their movies are just absolutely phenomenal. For you to be put on Shutter, that's about as high as you can get over here,
Yeah,
as far as horror films go.
I think so too. Like as far as and over here too. Like and Jamie said in on the panel, he said like when he made the film, the biggest goal he could think of for the film was to get it on Shudder, and it's coming true. So incredible news. It's,
And the beautiful thing is, so if it comes out there and it rocks it, which I'm sure it will, not only will the first one probably get seen, but also probably the seller. Basically, all of Jamie's movies will probably, horror movies will end up being showcased on Shutter if how well the R.I.P. Man does, which I think it'll do fine. I think it'll do fine. I mean, people over here they want stuff. They want to see something new, and the way we reacted to the R.I.P. Man over here in the States, it's impressive. I mean, people are talking about it. I'm not the only one.
yeah,
I talk about it quite a bit, and then and people, they'll ping me and they'll sit there and say, "Have you seen this movie?" And I said, "Yeah, by all means." We interviewed the director. This is the time, between our first time and now, and I sit there and say, well, yeah, we've interviewed the director and the lead actor, and so yeah, we've heard about it, and and any chance I get when people talk about horror icons, yeah, man, you gotta throw Aiden Pick into the mix because he's such an original killer.
yeah, and the
It's
memorable,
different.
yeah,
Such a different movie. It's not your typical every 8 minutes you got to kill somebody because it's every 8 minutes. It's not a cookie cutter. It's not a cookie cutter horror film. Like I said, it's a thinking person's horror film. You have to think about it. It's not just the slashers. There's thought behind it. And that's so
yeah.
refreshing to see, Owen. It's so refreshing to see that it's a smart thriller, and it's not just not cookie cutter.
No, well, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, I agree, and yeah, and I say I think some of what will help the film as well is the visual image of Alden too, because he's something memorable, and having seeing that character on the front on the poster for something. I think as a horror fan, if I saw that, I'd be like, "Wow, what's this guy about?" And apparently, that you watch the film and realize there's a lot about him. Like, there's a lot going on in that character. There's a lot to find out, and hopefully,
I wonder if Jamie thought about, just, it's, I don't know if he could do this, but as far as like like maybe make a small edit short out of it. But man, I wonder what would happen if he sent a clip of that to some dentists. Like, we're doing a horror film, we're doing it with, I wonder if they would respond to that, and see if anybody would work with you, like, you don't want to end up like Aiden, brush your teeth.
it's funny. Like I get on quite well with my dentist, and when I went there for my last checkup, she was like, I told her about the film, and yeah, she was shocked. She was like, "This is like the worst thing to hear. Like all my work, and someone's gone on screen and completely undone it." But then I think she's actually going to watch the. I mean, it was months ago, so maybe she has. But like, said she was going to watch the film, so that's an interest. It's an interesting thought to think my dentist is going to see a film where I have no teeth.
Uh, yeah, we have to talk about that. The fact that when I saw the movie the first time, and then you pop up there and you have no teeth, and I'm like, holy shit! I actually thought that was you. I was sitting there going like, how did they find this guy? And oh my god! And then Jimmy said, oh no, we CGI'd that, and it's like, oh thank God.
Yeah.
I believe in going for a character, but Jesus Christ, I'm not sure I can handle, even though he's an actor. Though I can't necessarily say that because there was another actor in another movie that was freaking fantastic. I don't know his name. I could probably look it up, but it was under the skin. It was a
Was that
gentleman
the
that,
Scarlett Johansson one?
yes,
I don't remember a lot about it, but I have seen it, and I remember it being really good. But
they had an actor there who was horribly disfigured. He has a brother who was fine, but he's horribly disfigured, but he steals every scene that he's in. Just a tremendous actor, tremendous human being from what I understand. And Scarlett and him did scenes together. It was great. Uh, but so I can't sit there and say that, gosh, if that really had happened and the actor who played Aiden had really no teeth, I can't sit here and just like shriek in horror about it. I just got to sit there and say that guy put on a hell of a show. Um, and speaking of hell of a show, uh, so you're shooting you're shooting the film now, R.I.P. Man 2. And the one thing I noticed, when I was talking about the earlier the police procedures on the show, I was talking about Inspector Morris and Lewis, and have not. I realized one thing. I realized there's a hell of a lot more actors in Great Britain than I realized.
all
Um,
right.
uh, yes, there
Oh, there's
are a
tons
lot
here.
of you
There's
out there.
we're full of actors here. Like,
Yeah. Um, d I don't know if I think we talked about this a little bit, but do you ever audition for the TV shows? I mean, do you have a manager or agent, or are you on your own in the terms of auditioning? Um, for a series of shows in Great Britain. Would you consider doing TV if given
I
a chance?
oh, absolutely. I don't have an agent at the moment. Actually, that's something that I need to make happen for myself because I I didn't mention this before, but like after COVID, I took a break from act. Well, COVID made
Right.
acting impossible, and I kind of almost fell out of acting. Like, got to a point where I'd be telling people, "Oh, I used to be an actor rather than I'm an actor." And it was only really when Jamie got in contact with R.I.P. Man where I got going again. And then after R.I.P. Man, I got cast in a comedy called Ghoul Squad, and then I did another short film and a couple of small parts in other films, and then R.I.P. Man 2. So I've been busy enough at the moment, but I certainly would like to pursue more work, and an agent is the gateway to that. And I would love to be in TV. Like, would love to be. I love acting, so I'd love to take any kind of role.
Well,
I love
I
challenges.
don't think you'll have much of a problem, especially once R.I.P. Man 2 comes out. I mean, I would hope that you get it beforehand, but even if it is a little bit afterwards, I do think that once the second movie comes out, especially being seen on Shutter, I don't see a problem with that because I mentioned this before. It's like, our good friend Kelly Goody Price. Um, it's like she's a great actress. And one of the rare things I've ever seen over here, you rarely see any English movies that are led by indie actors. And she's done it twice. Twice she's got movies that have been released on DVD here in stores. You can rent it out. You can buy it. I have both copies of her films. It's a rare thing. I mean, there's a lot of English actors that um, that have not done that. That have not been on the face of a DVD cover as far as independents go. Sure, you have TV shows like Doctor Who, and they have all the actors, or Sherlock, or something like that. That's because they're well-known actors, well-known performers. But as far as independents go, it's extremely rare to get physical media over here with independent British films. And like I said, she's done it twice, and now I think you're going to be doing it twice too.
Oh, excellent.
Hopefully, yeah, I believe now. Has Jamie? And the last time we talked about the physical media aspect of it. Uh, is RIP Band going to get a physical media release? I don't think it was the last time. I
So,
mean, I don't think it was out. I don't think it was out last time, but is it out now?
um, I don't believe it is out in the USA. I've been told though that the USA is actually going to get a distributed DVD
Yeah.
and Blu-ray, which yeah, it's going to be distributed there originally. It's not, to my knowledge, it's not going to be widely distributed in the UK, but there are physical copies that exist now of Blu-ray and DVD. I've held them. I don't actually own any myself, but I've signed some.
Oh,
uh,
awesome.
where like yeah, I think on JQS films.co.uk or some, or if someone googles JQS films, the producer, one of the producers, Jay Shuri, he has been producing, he had a certain amount made, which I think are going out to the Kickstarter and Indiegogo backers, but also I think you can order it on his website, I think, for, I don't want to say the price because I'm not 100% sure on that.
Sure.
But yeah, I believe you can order from his website. If I don't know the exact address, but if you Google JQS Films, I'm sure you'll find it. Yeah.
I'll look for it and put it down below and with the links to your page. I'll put that down there. I'll find it. Um, yeah, that would be that's the we because we talked about how important it would be to get it out in physical media, especially now, especially over here. Gosh, it would be really great if you could find a distributor here in the States because it's almost like a renaissance over here. People are getting back into physical media. They're getting, starting to cut cords again from streaming. Now I know it's, a lot of a lot of the streamers have millions of people signed up, but it's just like cable. At one time, cable had millions of people signed up, but now you look at it today, and it's like it's not so much. Yeah, there's still a lot of people having cable, but it's less every single day. And it's finally gotten low enough now to where it truly is noticeable that, before it's like, well, everybody had cable. And, what, a couple 100,000 people unsubscribed, that's not going to do anything. But then once that 200,000 became 800,000 and then it became 1.5 million, before you know it, you realize that people are leaving that platform. And I think that's going to happen with streaming.
Yeah.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but I think eventually that we're going to actually see people leave, like Netflix and Disney Plus because it's just too damn expensive.
Yeah, but
Um,
also I think one of the biggest problems with streaming is that there's too many now.
yeah,
There's so many subscriptions that the films to go around aren't. They're spread so thin that you can't pay for all those subscriptions. Like one subscription doesn't take much off your account, maybe two don't, but then you got four or five. Yeah, it's suddenly actually a big chunk for how much you're actually going to use. You could, if you've got four or five subscriptions, you might, unless you're someone who sits and watches TV every single evening or day, like you're probably not going to, you might go a whole month without using one of them. Like, and you realize it's not needed. And I think it's nice to have something like Netflix to just, if you're bored, you can scroll through and see what's on there. But nothing beats a DVD collection, right? You've got all your favorite films just sitting
no.
there, and you don't have to. You know it's there. You know it's not going to go away. It's there whenever you want it, and not
Oh,
that expensive.
it's the only way I could actually see. It's the only way I could actually see like British TV. It's the only way I can do it. I couldn't do it anyways. When once in a while, we'll get a ton of British series, and it's a gold mine because it's like I don't see those very often. It's like you don't see them often anywhere over here. So when someone donates a collection, you go ahead and you jump on it. You want to get it because otherwise you're not going to. It's like I had heard of Inspector Morse, but I had never ever seen the show. And then I got the last season of the last series, and also I was able to watch it and appreciate it. And I was like, this is an amazing show. And then the person also donated the entire run of Lewis. The entire series was donated. And then not long after that, I got the Perot series. Someone came in and donated the Perot series on physical media, and it's just like this is this is awesome. Now there's a legitimate chance that we could get we can get the RIP man over here in the States, and I really do believe that it will take off. He will become more and more iconic, and able to and able to support a franchise. There's a lot you could go with this character. I mean,
Yeah,
there's a lot of road ahead of it. It's not one of those, and there's fresh stories and ideas that can be had here. Um, and I'm looking forward to it.
I thoroughly agree, and I mean, I say like a lot of the script has been kept a mystery to me because I only know my scenes. But when even talking to Jane, even after seeing everything, all I can think about is like we've got to make a third one. There's more here. There's more, and hopefully it will go on. I think the character's got a lot to give to the horror industry, and I think the story and the people in that world. There's like the first one. There's as I said earlier, there's a lot of characters which Alden doesn't go for, but that means that there's a lot of characters to explore different avenues with. Like they've all
Yeah,
got purpose, and there's a story behind each one of them, especially like characters like the parents. I think in the first film come
yes,
across a little sketchy, and I think that's
yeah.
something to be very
I don't necessarily think they're as I don't think they're as innocent as they seem to be. I think there's something there behind it. I do hope that they do come out with a third one. I'm going to tell Jamie to call it Aiden Goes to Hell.
maybe that can be the ninth one if we can get there like like
Yeah,
Jason.
yeah. Aiden X. Oh, you know what? That's a well. Well, yeah. That sounds good. That sounds good.
You know you've made it
All
in a
right.
franchise when you go to space, you know.
Um, we have hit our mark, and we have gotten through. We have gotten through without any glitches, barely any glitches at all. We're gonna go to the chat real quick. Lady Valerie is here. Thank you so much. Saying hi. And Mike is here. He's from the UK as well. He's up a little late. And Tom is from Belgium. I believe Tom is
Oh
from
wow.
Belgium. And he says a British guest. He's happy about that. And he said a great interview. Thanks so much, Tom. Tom is a great supporter of the show as well, as is Lady Valerie and Mike. Thank you so much. I know we're generally on later, but anytime we do an interview in the UK or Europe, we're always here in the afternoon. Um, I want to thank you, Owen, for coming out and hanging out with us. It was actually, it was a lot more fun today than it was last time. I dare
Yeah,
say.
I mean it, you getting kicked out the room a few times and constantly in mid sentence and then thinking like, should I continue? like
Yeah, it
it's
really
not
throws
nice
you
to
off.
have a flowing conversation.
No, this is a great conversation, and I do appreciate you coming out and hanging out with us. Um, the RIP man is up and running already. You can probably find it. You can on streamers, and the RIP Man 2 will be coming out, and it will be going now. RIP is the first RIP Man on Shutter, or will it be the second one that will be on Shutter?
No, the first one's going to be on Shudder, and
Okay,
anyone who wants to check it out before it ends up on Shudder, it's available on um, Amazon Prime, um, Apple TV, YouTube. You can pay to see it on YouTube. Plex, I believe it's on as well. So there's quite a few different streaming. I think there's a couple of others out there too, but those are some of the big ones.
um, before I let you go, I was going to ask you this. This weekend, or this I guess basically this summer, this year has seen four movies from four YouTube filmmakers. Um, uh, uh, as far as we have Backrooms, and we have Obsession, Iron Lung, and I believe, oh, maybe I think he's a filmmaker that started on YouTube. And then there's Good Boy. Um, have
Oh,
you seen any of have you seen any of those movies? And what do you think about the suddenly Hollywood discovering YouTube filmmakers or content creators? Um, do you feel like it will help the industry, or will expectations be too high?
Um, as long as the films are good, I think it helps the industry. Like the industry needs more good horror films, right? And if these YouTubers are making great films out of it, which I've the only one I've seen out of the four is Obsession, which I thought was really good. I really enjoyed it. Very
Yeah,
creepy, gave me chills at times. Um, and if films are going to come out of that quality, then yes, please, YouTubers make more films. um, because yeah, there's a lot more freedom with independent filmmakers to be daring, come through original ideas. So the more a YouTuber is an independent filmmaker, just as any other one is, I guess, right? So
I
please
I
make
think the
more.
biggest thing I think the biggest thing is, here they are talking about Christopher Nolan, and they're sitting there going like that the Odyssey will probably be like the last truly big blockbuster that Hollywood, like, the $200 million price tag. I think so too. I think so too, because it's like it's so much it's just so much there that you have to hope for to be able to get your money back. Here you are, you make a movie for $5 million. Or in Good Boys case, I think they made it for 750. I think
Yeah. Same with
Backrooms they made $10 million. Oh, that's a horrible movie though. God, that was horrible.
what
You won't
background.
like that one. Backrooms.
I'm seeing it on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah. So
Good.
I've got
Yeah. Well,
okay. I'll take your warning.
bring a pillow, because you'll probably just nod off.
Oh
Not
really?
very
Oh,
good.
well, that's a shame.
Yeah. Good Boy was great. Good Boy is fantastic. If you get a chance to see that, in fact, that actually will be on Shutter. You can see Good Boy on Shutter.
Oh, cool.
Um, yeah, it was an ISC film, or I believe it was yeah, it was ISC film. So yes, you could do that. Um, but yeah, but thing is though, they made this for little or no money. Like I think Obsession was probably the most expensive of the three,
I
but they're making so much money now. It's
yeah.
like you can make money off a $10 million film. You don't need to spend $200 million to make, hopefully, your money. I mean, when you make a movie like that, all you hear from the producers and from the people is, "I hope we make our money back." Because you've extended it so hard. Whereas a horror film, you spend $10 million, and it's like, how much money will you make? How much money are you going to get? Because you're going to make a profit. I mean, you just are. I mean, Bloomhouse has been doing the same thing for years, coming out with a movie, $10 to $12 million. They throw it out on a weekend, PG-13, and they'll make 30, 40, 50 million bucks off it. They make profit off of every movie they make. Whereas someone like an Odyssey is like, you're hoping. I mean, you have so much, to cover. Um, $200 million, that's just for the production. You're going to spend another $80 million to promote it. You're not making that money back here in the United States. You're not making that here. You're depending on foreign markets to make your money. You're hoping to recoup your production costs here in the States, and then if you hope to get profit, you hope it comes across the world. And if like China doesn't really want to see your movie, your ass is up. You're out in the wind. If
It,
they
it
turn around and say, yeah, I'm not really into it.
it's an unreal
Um,
thought that a film can cost 200 million. I'm sure, there's a thousand reasons why it does, but yeah, but to recoup that, I mean,
I
that is
just
a
think
tall
it's so
ask, and
I think it's so cool though that the guy the what is the Markiplier, I guess his name, he spent $5 million on his movie Iron Lung. Um, I didn't really think that was very good either, but he made money off of it. Um, and I love the idea that they're going out there making all these small budget movies, and now they're going out there and they're making serious money. They're making really serious money. And my greatest fear is that these directors that come out with these movies is that they'll come out, throw out an Obsession, in Curry Barker's place. He comes out with Obsession, and now they turn around and sit there and they want him to do Resident Evil.
Oh, is he
I
making that?
yeah, there's so many things that could go wrong there. That to do that, I think as a director, let's say R.I.P. Man 2 blows up. I mean, all of a sudden it's like holy shit, and Jamie comes the biggest thing. Um, I would rather see Jamie, do what he's doing than to go ahead and some major studio say, here, we're going to give you the keys to Friday the 13th, where everything and anything could go wrong, and then your ass is out. Like if you strike out, the studio is going to sit there and say, well, what you did before was just lucky. I mean, if you go back and really look at some of these directors that have done, like, it's amazing because I see a lot of directors they do one movie one year, and then there's like 8 or 9 years later before they get another chance to make another movie. And it's like if you bobble it the first time, you're not going to get a second chance.
Um, it's funny you mentioned Resident Evil and Jamie. Like, he's a massive fan of that. That would have been a dream come true for him, I'm sure. Because I remember hearing him say in an interview that a lot of The Cellar was inspired by Resident Evil in the sense of the whole looking around and the taking the pacing of searching these rooms, like based on the games, not the.
Well, hell, you can actually make a case. You can actually make a case the way that The Cellar is. You can make a case that it was there before back rooms. All back rooms is honestly, all back rooms is it just have long. It's just more of a cube. It's more like set in a high rise, like multiple floors. Like 20 floors. And but the only thing different I saw, well, besides this just boring as hell, whereas The Cellar had purpose. They had different characters come in and interact. Whereas this one here, you just look down the hallway. It's super long. Okay, been done before. I couldn't understand why they're going they're going Google over it, where it's like there's been several movies that have done the same thing and done it better, much better. And The Cellar, I said Cube, but The Cellar, you're right, that is very much like a back rooms, very much,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen Back Room
but
yet.
done better, But you tell me when you see it. I'd like to hear your opinion. All right. That is it for sure. I want to thank everybody for coming over and hanging out with us. We will be back here next Wednesday. I'll tell you what's coming on the calendar. Next Wednesday, the 10th, we have the lovely Andrea Garces Lopez. She'll be here. And we'll be talking about 7 Days to Hell and other films that she has been involved with. She is a rising star. And boy, she makes an awesome looking devil. I'll tell you that. She makes evil look good. On the 11th, we have filmmaker Frank Merle. He'll be here at 8 p.m. And then on Friday the 12th, we're going to be talking to one of my favorite young talented artists, Khalil Neal, and we're going to be talking books, writing, and Bigfoot. He had made his own franchise, the Tennessee Bigfoot. He put out 3 films. We're hoping for a 4th, but we're hearing there might not be a 4th. He might be moving on. But we're going to be talking with Khalil on June 12th. On the 16th, we are talking with makeup artist Shauna Marie, and I can't wait to talk to her. She's a fascinating young artist. She's doing it punk rock style, and that's the reason why I had her on the show. She's pretty badass. And then on the 18th, we have probably one of the biggest names we've had on the show, one of the most talented for sure, and that will be Diane Cameron Elam. And let me tell you, that lady has more awards than 20 people put together. She's phenomenal. She's absolutely phenomenal. I can't believe we got someone like her to come onto the show. We're blessed, as we are with our good friend Owen here. And we look forward to having you come back and talk to us
Yeah.
once RIP Man 2 is done and ready to rock and roll. We'll have you and hopefully Jasmine and
Yeah.
Jamie and Reese come out there and we'll talk about the movies.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd be great if we could, all four of us on there. That would be amazing. I mean, the stars would have to align, but like,
Yeah, I know. I don't know how Gareth got Jasmine and I didn't. I don't understand that. But Gareth is a really nice guy. I'm actually
Reese
surprised he
is the
didn't pop up
hardest.
today.
I think Reese
Uh,
is the
uh,
hardest to get for a podcast. He's a busy
oh,
man with a
really?
family, I think. So
Well, we'll get Reese in here. We'll get him in here. All right. That's it. Thanks so much, everybody. Stay right where you're at for a minute, Owen, and to everybody else, we'll say good night right here. And maybe we'll see you later on tonight if you're hearing this today. Yeah, we're going to probably be chewing the fat about Adam Marcus. We're talking about that and anything else that comes up through the pipeline. Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.